Hi, this is Jeremy Schoonmaker, Pre-Sales Technical Consultant for the Channel MPS Group. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the driver deployment utility to create customized packages for deploying drivers on users' workstations. We'll be using the Park tool, which is the Print Administrator's Resource Kit, and more specifically in there, the driver deployment utility. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need to do is download the Universal Print driver and have driver files available. So you can go to www.hp.com/go/upd and you'll be brought to this page. You'll click Software and Drivers, and here you'll have options to download the drivers. You can do this either on PCL6 or PostScript. So I've already downloaded this, and then you're also going to want to extend this utility Universal Print driver and download the HP Print Administrator's Resource Kit. These are both going to be zip files, so you'll extract them, and what you'll have left over is a folder called HP Park that has a bunch of folders in it, and you'll have the UPD file with all of the driver files included. Now you'll start over here in Park. There's a bunch of different utilities in the Print Administrator's Resource Kit, but today we're going to be using the driver deployment utility. So you'll go and click on this one that has the HP logo, this application, you'll run that. That's going to pop up this utility. And again, what we're going to be doing is creating a driver package. So first thing we need to do is select the driver we want as part of the driver package. So I'll select over here to the files that I downloaded earlier, and you'll select the same INF file that you would select when you were installing a driver. So I'll pick that, I'll open it, and you'll see that it'll ask me which version I want. I always recommend that you use the driver version number at the end for drivers. So I'll choose that. You don't have to do this, but you have the option to pre-configure the driver. And if you do that, it's going to ask you to choose the CFG file, which is the config file. So in the same folder, there'll be this file that ends in .cfg. You'll choose that, and you'll be able to pre-configure the file. It'll call the driver configuration utility. I have a separate video on that if you want to check that out. But for now, we'll just show that, hey, we're going to click the checkbox to pre-configure the driver. Now you choose the install type. You can either preload the driver into the Windows Driver Store. This would be really useful if you're doing point and print with like USB, but more commonly you're going to be creating a network port and installing the driver. This way you can set up all the settings of the printer. So this is great if you have a situation where you've got a printer installed and you need to install the same driver to that printer on multiple workstations. This is great because you can pre-configure everything. So I'm going to use the IP address, but you can also use the host name to identify the printer. You can name the port. I'll just leave it at HP print port, and then we'll choose a printer name. In this case, I'm going to call it HP DDU. That's driver deployment utility test. You can also set this as the default and set up a share if you want to, but I'm not going to do either of those in this video. So I'll push OK. Next, I'm going to choose where I'm going to save this package. It's going to be 3 files that are going to be output. So I'm going to put them in the same directory here. And you can name this. It's got a default name of DDU out, but you can use a descriptive name for this. So in this case, I'm going to do the name of my printer, the X579 printer, and that'll put it out there. Now all you need to do is click Create Package, and it will launch into the driver configuration utility, which again, if you've never seen, I've got a separate video that you can look at here. This allows you to pre-configure all the driver settings that are going to show up when you install this printer, and so this is really useful. Instead of having to install this on each user's machine and then change all the printing preferences to what is needed, you can change them all right here. So the most common ones is that we would print in grayscale enabled by default, and we'd print duplex enabled by default. But you can see that there's a ton of different options available here. You can go into the device settings and configure the stapler mode or whatever you want to do. So for today, I'm going to leave it as the print in duplex and grayscale, but I'm also going to do one more thing, which is add a printing shortcut, which is a common thing that I ask people to do. So you can create, if you have a specific job type you want to do, you can create a shortcut for that. So I'm going to just create a shortcut that's called job storage, maybe. You could do whatever you like if you have a specific type of job, if you have invoices or plans or whatever you want to do, you can do that. So I'm going to add that printing shortcut. Now where it added it was down here into the printing shortcuts area. and you see that right now it had just EcoSmart settings, but now it's got job storage, which is the one that I chose. So I'll click on that one, and then I'm going to expand the tree that now is available, and it's going to show all of the defaults that we had before, but now I can change them specifically for this printing shortcut. So I could change, if I'm going to be printing on 11 by 17 or something, I could change the paper size or the media type. In this case, I'm just going to turn job storage mode to personal job and add a pin code. And I'll do pin to print, and I'll do the pin as 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so going through all these steps, now I've got a job storage shortcut, and with a predefined pin to print. So now that my driver is configured, I just push OK, and it'll start the process of outputting this package into my desired destination. Now again, keep in mind that this is really, really good if you're doing direct IP printing, because we've already pre-configured all those network settings, and we're going to pre-configure the driver. If you have multiple printers in your environment, you could definitely create multiple packages with a name, and then you'll just need to go through and run each of the packages to install each of the printers. You see that didn't take very long. I'll open the package directory here, and you'll see that now I have 3 files, all called X579 printer. There's a CAB file, there's an XML file here, showing up as an HTML document, but it's an XML file, and then here is an application. Now, in order for this to work, all 3 of these files have to be present in the directory that you're using, and this could be like a flash drive, right? You could put it on a USB drive, and put all 3 of these files there. But when you run this application, it's going to use this CAB file and this XML file to configure everything. So all 3 of these files need to be together in the same directory. Now, I'm not going to make you watch through the whole install because it's pretty boring, which is great because you don't want a lot of user interaction for your end users. So all I'm going to do is right-click the application, and I'm going to run it as administrator. And I'm going to get asked for permission to do that, which is fine. And then you'll see that, that I've got this little prompt here that's just a driver deployment, and then it just says, please wait. And that's going to run for somewhere between 1 minute to 2 minutes. So I'm going to pause this recording really quick so you don't have to wait. Okay, that finished, and as expected, it took about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes maybe. Not too long, but just long enough that we didn't need to watch it go. So now the driver and the printer should be installed. So I'll pull up my print management console here. And if I refresh my drivers, it should be there. And if I refresh my printer, now I have that HP DDU test available, which is what I named it. And if everything worked correctly here, then when I pull up the preferences of this printer, you should see that I have color set to grayscale, and I've got my duplex turned on by default, and you see here the print shortcut is available for job storage. So when I click on job storage, it should already be configured for a personal job pin to print with my pin already installed. So this is really easy. It's already pre-configured for each end user, and it's ready to deploy. So this is the driver deployment utility in the Print Administrator's resource kit.